This is what they're telling everybody in the United States. All taxpayers, prepare yourself for this one, folks. The IRS is letting you know they can't do their job.
That warning, just to clarify, is that they're asking everyone, they're warning you to let you know you need to get your tax returns in
early,
your tax returns very quickly and early. Talking about in the next few weeks, they're even saying, as soon as they open up, because if not, don't expect a response anytime soon. And with April 18th being the deadline this year, they're saying people who maybe file in late April or April 18th, who knows?
There are only 6 million of unprocessed individual returns from last year and 2 million unprocessed amended tax returns from last year as well. Now, if you'll remember this, I said when we challenged the IRS in those targeting cases, which, by the way, that they can do it apparently because they had the targeting case just a couple of months back that was resolved. We talked about that. We had a congressional hearing on it. So they could still target individuals that they want to target. They just can't process tax returns.
System needs to be simplified. And really, we don't need an IRS like we have it today. We don't need this huge bureaucracy. It is one of the largest federal bureaucracies, and yet is one of the most least supervised, the least accountable. Yep. And we've gone to court because of that. Do you trust your federal government to do what the IRS is supposed to be doing? I think most people do not.
The fundamental job they're tasked, which was just processing tax returns. Instead, they're worrying about finding out if someone's using the Bible as a basis of their nonprofit organization.
A lot of that stuff didn't go away during the last year.
Oh, no, that they could do.
That
they did
You could target people based on their religious beliefs or based on their political affiliations, but they
have the money for that.
But you don't have the money to actually do just a very basic function of your job, which is what every American has to do, which was file an insane tax return that most people don't understand.
You're going to have taxpayers in an impossible situation. They're not going to be able to comply this year because they don't have their returns back. But, Jay, let me just tell you very succinctly this. The reason they are institutionally incapable of correction is because this is the most powerful tool that the federal bureaucracy has to assert control over the American people's lives. It's not an accident, Jay. They don't want to give it up because it's such a powerful tool.
We have a case right now that we're representing an organization in the southwestern portion of the United States, and there was a series of questions that the Internal Revenue Service had. We responded, and you know what we've heard so far? Crickets. Nothing. This has been months. Barely. I don't even know if we got an acknowledgement of our response. But this tells you that what we're dealing with right now is so difficult, and it's hard on people.
I had an issue just a few months ago just trying to get an EIN, an employee identification number.
Which is normally automatic.
For an LLC. You usually get it in 3 seconds, and there was some problem. I called them, and they're like, you have to fax us.
Fax?
I had to fax and wait 90 days, and maybe I would hear back. I dissolved the business and restarted the LLC because it was such a hassle, because it was like this name was like one letter too close to another. It was so complicated. They said, yeah, you can't get your bank account now for 90 days, and we're not going to give you an EIN. And it's just a mess.
But this really does hurt small business. It's a perfect example. This really does hurt, Harry, small businesses. I mean, it has a real impact.
And I also think it hurts the overall economy. It hurts the level of employment in the nation. And it hurts the future of the nation. But I also think that the bureaucrats, they are blind to the consequences of their misconduct and their incompetence. And so one of the things that I think we probably need is a more effective and efficient way of firing either the incompetent individuals in the IRS or those that are highly politicized. And so one of the big questions is, where are the consequences?
They had enough power and authority to not process your return, Wes, mine either, or others.
Right.
But they had enough to get a revenue agent, an IRS agent in Texas, I believe, to write a letter to a nonprofit organization and say, we don't like the language you're using about the Bible is the word of God, and you have principles that align, you're pro-Israel, which aligns with the D Party, which equaled Republican, and they put this in writing. They put this in writing. That they have money for. That they have the ability. That's why you got to go to court. And that's why you fight out. That's why we had 2 congressional hearings on this. You fight back. We don't just take this from them. And can I take it up one more notch here? I have been saying this for a decade. For a decade, I have been saying they're institutionally incapable of self-correcting. And now we're all getting warning letters saying, hey, we can't process your stuff. But we sure can but they want to spend money to follow a $600 transaction. That they want to do, they just can't process your return.